Hi, this is Calandra. In this video we'll be covering how to factor the difference of two squares. So this is a special form of a binomial where each of your terms can be written as some quantity squared. If that's the case, this will factor into the first quantity, notice without the square, minus the second quantity without the square, times, and then we would have a plus b. So this is our formula for the difference of two squares. Very important to keep in mind that the sum of two squares cannot be factored unless there's some greatest common factor in all of your terms that you can take out, but it will not be able to factor into two binomials. So let me convince you a little bit further as to why this works. So we can check our answer by multiplying this out using the distributive property. I'm going to use the FOIL version of the distributive property. So if we do first times first, that gives us a squared. Outer times outer is plus ab. Inner times inner, so negative b times a, it's the same thing as negative a times b. Last times last is negative b squared. So notice that the two middle terms cancel out, and we're left with what we started, a squared minus b squared. Okay, so this is a formula that you want to keep in mind for factoring. So let's apply it to these several examples that we have here. So in part A, since I have a binomial, this formula will come to mind. So I see that I already have my x squared. How can I rewrite 81 as some quantity squared? Well, it's the same thing as 9 squared. So now my expression is in the same form as my formula, so I know that this will factor into x minus 9 times x plus 9. And that's it. Remember, you can always use FOIL to multiply it back out and make sure that you come up with what you started. Okay, in part B, in order to apply this formula, I need to have the difference of two things being squared. So 25 I know is the same thing as 5 squared minus, and now I need the second quantity to be a single quantity squared. Well, I know that 2 squared is equal to 4, and then if I square my x, that gives me x squared. So now I have it written in a form where I can apply my formula. So this will factor into 5 minus 2x times 5 plus 2x. Okay, for part C, we have x squared plus 4. Well, there is no greatest common factor between x squared and 4. So the question is, can we factor this? And the answer is no. This is a plus, so we cannot apply our difference of two squares formula. And so since it cannot be factored, we would say that this is prime.